Yow! Welcome to some eXtv Highlander Showmatch. This week we've got Ginyu versus DK. But before we get started on that, we're actually here live with Sean, the map maker of Borneo. So say hi, Sean.
Hey guys.
So before we get started, we just wanted to, do a little bit of interviewing here and talk about kind of the process of making a new Highlander map. So when you made Borneo, it's obviously a pretty aesthetically gorgeous map. What's it like trying to balance that with the competitive play? Like what these platinum teams want to see in a map?
Well, basically, I just went over it with Valen, and we talked about what areas needed work. He was a pretty useful expert about the whole competitive scene. And we just went over it. Seems like you guys really need to have like a lot more open space than I originally had. I mean, originally it didn't have like, I wasn't balancing for competitive, but then I decided to challenge myself and make it for competitive since I saw it had been played in Highlander for one of the season.
Yeah, and it's gone through a couple of pretty big revamps here. Can you talk about kind of some of the changes you made in the most recent alterations?
Well, in the most recent one, I was working on point 3. That was where a lot of stalemates were happening, I think. So basically, there used to be a third floor that went all the way across the room and covered all entrances. What I did was I basically nerfed that so that it doesn't go over the far left entrance.
Yeah, and that was a pretty big adjustment. You added a whole nother layer to the barn from kind of previous competitive seasons. Really made this third point a lot more exciting to both play and watch, in my opinion. Oxy, I don't know if you've played the newest version, but do you have any thoughts?
I haven't played the newest version. I've played alterations in different styles. It seems that every server that I play it on, there's a different version, but it certainly looks a lot more open compared to when I played it last. There used to be a lot more stalemating. It seems to be that it's got a lot more space to move around, a lot more ways for teams to flank other teams. I think it's going to make for a very, very interesting game. One thing that I can notice, I see there's a lot more flowers around on the map than previous when I started playing it. A lot more stuff for the aesthetics, which looks very nice.
Yeah, again, like I'm always surprised by how well this map plays on my computer, at least. I get pretty good frames for a map that looks pretty incredible, so great work with that, Sean.
Yeah, thank you. I actually did some optimization over the last version.
Now,
so
like,
hopefully it'll be playing.
Oh, sorry. What teams have been working with you, especially on this map?
DK gave some advice. I think that was the name. Like a few months ago. I mean, it's been a while since I've been working on it. But that was the last people I worked with.
Yeah, DK is actually one of our teams playing tonight, so I'm sure that kind of preview into the map is going to be a big strategic advantage for them going into the show match. So, talking about this first point here, obviously you've made some changes since the early versions, but it's a pretty long uphill push that I see a lot of variation in how it's played defensively, which is something that you don't see out of payload maps. You kind of, especially like Upward and Badwater, you kind of have your set meta where you're up on the cliff or you're in the valley next to house on Upward. But this map really has some very differing ways that you can play it. You can certainly go up on the top area next to the big rock, or you can kind of hold in shack. And I don't know. I'd just like to congratulate you on making a map that's still pretty unique in how it's played every time. So.
Well, thank you. We also I made like a change to the first point in my most recent iteration. There used to be a doorway in the shack. on this place where there was a window. I got rid of that, so hopefully that'll be easier to hold. Like, I felt people were... It was a bit easy to go through that area, so buff defense a bit, hopefully.
Yeah, that's something that's always important. That we sometimes see maps that are really promising, especially in kind of the UGC map testing group. For anybody who doesn't know, contact Red Rum and try and get involved there. But we see a lot of maps that are really promising, but we just don't see the commitment to change, and that's something that I think you've done really well on Borneo. We've gone through a bunch of versions since the last time it was played in competitive, and you're just always there listening to feedback. So, if you got any advice for map makers who are working with a competitive scene, what would you say?
I'd say be open to change, because you're going to have to do pretty big changes. You're going to have to probably redo entire areas of your map to make it functional for competitive.
Yeah, for sure. So, looking at the map as a whole, what would you say is kind of your crown jewel, your favorite part of the map to play, and your favorite part that you designed?
Personally, I think the second point area. I mean, I'm not a competitive player, but I like the dynamic of it in pubs. I like the way that you can go around the whole area through the back house. And I'm proud that I made that building at 45-degree angle. That's kind of annoying to deal with in Hammer, but I think it turned out well.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And Sean, I've just got a question for you looking at this map, especially being one that's so focused on pushing the cart as most payload maps are. One thing that I've certainly noticed is that when I used to play it, there used to be a lot of the smaller health packs, but not a lot of the large ones on the flanks, especially around there. Looking at where they're placed, obviously a lot of them are placed on like the left and right of the flank. Did you change around any of the positions of any of the health packs, or put them around like to kind of encourage that flank play and try to open up plays? Or like, what was your thought process in terms of placing the health packs around? In terms of like, there seems to be an abundance of smalls, but not a lot of large ones, so making you play off the heels and that kind of situation?
Well, generally I like to avoid... You mean like the largest health pack?
Mm-hmm. And just like,
yeah, I like
how
to avoid having that, because it just feels like it makes battles chaotic when somebody can heal to full. So I like to avoid that for the most part. I think there's only one. It's mostly mediums. But for the most part, I try to keep the health packs in areas out away from the battle. So you have to invest a bit of time to get there. I don't think they've changed too much in this version.
Yeah, I know. In the earlier versions of being an engineer main, I would just complain about there was no medium ammo kits or full ammo kits anywhere. And then we went through a version where they were everywhere, and just kind of refined it back to this fair placement of these ammo kits where they need to be, and it makes it a fun map. I haven't played it too much in pubs, but I enjoy it in a competitive setting. It's still fresh as a payload map, so we'll see how it kind of lasts after it's gotten some more play. But I think right now it's pretty balanced, and we're gonna see tonight if both of these teams can adjust and play a good match on it.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be balanced. I'm always open to make more changes.
Are you working on any other maps at the moment besides Borneo?
No, not right now. I think Borneo's my last TF2 map. I'm just kind of tired of mapping for TF2.
Pretty exhausting
I've done it for
process.
years. Yeah. Takes months for each map.
What would you like to see come out of Borneo? Like, what would, as someone who plays TF2 or someone who owns a TF2 server that people regularly play on that might run custom maps, what would you want to say to them? Would you want them to definitely give Borneo a go, obviously, but what would you like to see? Would you like to see more servers running it, more players getting on it, more support from the community in terms of playing it, or?
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to have people playing the map. I mean, Um, Definitely public. I always enjoy pub servers, but really it's been focused on the competitive. I haven't playtested in pubs for a while.
Yeah, and that's something that you definitely have to balance, I'd imagine, is kind of the feedback from pubs will probably be pretty contradictory from what you're getting in competitive playtests.
Well, I try to keep it functional in pubs, but the focus really is on competitive.
Yeah, so do you have any kind of last thoughts you want to chime in about the map before we start heading into the show match?
Well, just thanks for playing it. Can't wait to see how it plays. That's all I have to say.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Sean. And thanks for making such a great map. We'll see how it plays tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Well, thanks, Sean, for coming in for the interview. We're going to start changing over towards our precast kind of regular actions here. Moving into some rosters, talking about State of Platinum. Oxy, what do you think about the two teams we have lined up today?
It should be a very good game, very interesting game. Last I saw of Ginyu Force was their first game that we casted, which was the week 1 of Platinum, and they seem to kind of not have it all together, and especially on a payload map such as this, it requires a lot of coordination, so it's going to be interesting to see what they've changed and what they're going to do differently. But I see they've got a few different players. They've got Banny, the golden boy of gaming, on their side, so it might change things around and might be able to change how the team dynamic works and get them a win. But it's certainly going to be an interesting one between these two teams.
Yeah, looking at Ginyu, it's just a really impressive roster on pretty much every class. You're looking at somebody who's at the best, if not considered the best by many at their class. Certainly Banny being one of the best demo men in the game, kind of leading the charge. But again, it's interesting that they have lost this season. You said week 1, they were kind of overcome by kind of the teamwork of other teams, and even against DK in their last match, kind of came down to the final seconds. So should be a pretty interesting match tonight, especially on a map that doesn't really play too much into DM as much as coordination and teamwork.
Definitely. And I'm just getting word that the teams are going to be ready to go pretty soon, so I'm going to go down the roster for Ginyu Force for it.
For sure.
On Scout, we've got Paddy. On Soldier, we've got Mailer. On Pyro, we've got Fathom. On Demo, we've got Banny. On Heavy, we've got Dill. On Engineer, we have Sigafu. On Med, we have Overseer. On Sniper, we have Stones. And on Spy, we have Stabby. So that's going to be an interesting lineup.
Yeah, and for DK, we have kind of their standard roster. Ibby on Scout. Asus Gamer on Soldier. Velocity playing Pyro for him. Zan playing Demo. DK Carl playing Heavy Weapons Man. Metaway on Medic. DK Josh, formerly known as Lelouch, playing Engineer. And then some mix-ups from previous seasons. Axiomatic playing Sniper. And Deer coming in playing Spy. So
it's certainly going to be a very, very close game. Who do you think's going to take it? Grizz, who do you got tipped to win?
Oh, looking at kind of the matchup here, definitely looking at Borneo as a map, I got to take DK. A team like that with a lot of kind of chemistry that they've built up over some seasons, and definitely previous experience on the map is going to help out. And I think they're actually going to take this one, I think, handily in the first round, and I think being the smart players they are, Ginyu is going to adapt a little bit in the second round. What do you think?
Being the Australian and knowing that the Australians always go for the underdog, I'm going to say that I feel like Ginyu are going to take this one. I feel like, you know, everyone's been saying, like, you know, the season didn't go great for them. I feel like this is their time for redemption, their time in the sunlight. So I feel like this is going to be, they're going to come out and show us what they're made of. They're not going to sit by and let DK take this one.
Yeah, and on a map like Borneo, I'm especially interested in watching this kind of sniper matchup between Axio and Stones, both of which kind of just incredible snipers. And Borneo is a pretty open, pretty long, with a lot of long sight lines. So we'll see kind of how that battle goes. See which knows kind of the more cheeky hiding spots. We're getting the server pretty full. Got 18 players just getting on their respective teams now.
Sorry, I was going to say, looking at the map, Grizz, we've looked at, how some of the changes have gone around and looking at the certain points and stuff. Which points do you think are going to be the throwaways, or do you think it's going to be a very slow play? Do you think it's going to be very fast-paced, especially for it's a pretty long payload map? So where do you think all the action's going to happen? Around the points, do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to kind of see how this new third point plays. I think it's going to be pretty exciting. We're going to see him, both teams readying up here. But yeah, again, I think that third point is one to watch. But again, first point, like most payload maps on Borneo, is also kind of a throwaway. So here we go. Teams are starting off. I'm gonna watch Josh here and see kind of where he sets up. Got a fairly long setup time. We're gonna see him kind of build his in next to the first point. This is a pretty standard spot that a lot of people go to. It's got nice point coverage. And, it's pretty easy to hold. He's got space to fall back to if he's getting spammed out. But we're going to see how where his combo holds. A lot of times they'll push up pretty aggressively, but yeah, it looks like they're going to be taking this top section, controlling it with their combo while their flank holds left side.
Yeah, and one thing noted is Zan's got a sticky trap on that tree on the right side facing the spawn, so on Red's right. He's got a nice sticky trap hidden behind that grass there, so maybe you might get a few picks off that.
And we're off as the gates open up here. Again.
We do see all the blue coming around behind that tree. Oh, the sticky trap gets called out though.
Yeah, Banny takes a big hit from it, but he's just going to fall back and try and get healed up. Blue combo pushing left side here, trying to force their way through house or shack. As Patty kind of forces himself in on that heavy. Zan helping to get that cleanup kill and take down Blue Scout.
We do see Red coming around on the right side to meet up with that aggression, so we might see an Uber exchange coming in very soon with a few people down for either team. Axio getting taken down there from the blue spy.
Yeah, red combo's kind of cut out from the gun here, so they're probably going to have to Uber in. And there goes blue and red Uber both being exchanged at house. Banny trying to get some pressure in on the combo, but so far the gun is just staying up.
Yeah, that wasn't really a great Uber for red there. They were trying to contest on the right side with blue's aggression. And blue just wrapped around and got them caught off in a position where they only had a few players to give the Uber to, and they really got caught out in a position that wasn't favourable for them to get frags with.
Yeah, right now DK just dropping players as they kind of push up on that left side. Gun being taken back, but Stones takes down Josh to get the gun. So DK is not going to have a gun set up here for second. As Ginyu forces their way onto this first point, pressuring up with Banny.
Yeah. What was very crucial in terms of them taking that point was you saw that there was a really nice just flare crit coming over from Fathom and just landing straight onto Metaway and just getting that pick. So they lost the heal advantage, and it looks like it's going to be a relatively easy push on a second. But Red are coming out now, DK coming out to get some aggression back here and try to stop it.
Got a nice pick onto Banny there, which kind of stops blue in their tracks. As they're kind of trying to get possession of this side flank on right side. Ibby causing trouble with his infamous soda popper, jumping all around. The gun does go down though in another blue Uber as they force themselves into blue or red upper.
Yeah, and with Metaway going down, they didn't really have an Uber to contest this, and Metaway is just now with the heavy and the Scout's flanking, and Metaway goes down without even getting that Uber charge in time, so it's going to be a significant disadvantage for DK, and it looks like Ginyu are going to easily take this second.
Yeah, again, Patty with a nice pick onto Metaway there as he was holding left side. Blue kind of just controlling the whole point as they get some picks here and there. Carl going down on the flank as Red just starts to get out here. They really need to just save players. Ibby drops to the Soldier Rocket, trying to escape there.
One thing to note was, even on that slope that the cart was going up there, it didn't roll back down. It just had that position being held there. It didn't roll, which gave Ginyu a fair advantage when they lost players on the cart. It just didn't roll back down the slope because it mustn't have been put in there.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of server issues here, so the cast might be a little off, but we're all just trying to see what happens. As Blue is just pushing pretty strongly through tunnel as DK tries to just regroup and hold that third point, which can be a pretty powerful hold if they get set up.
One thing you can just see here with the pause is just the Pyro just catching out the Spy, and it's going to be an interesting on pause.
Yeah, I'm actually got kicked out of the server, so we'll see what happens. But right now, Blue, sitting pretty comfortably, has a bit of an Uber advantage as they're going through. They're going to want to definitely push that before they can get set up in the top of barn. Right now, we're just kind of waiting.
We have the unpause come out now. And we do see Ginyu forces clustering around that cart, getting a lot of pressure on it. They're very quick to push up. They don't want to let DK get a good engineer set up. But Josh has got a sentry up, and he is going to be working on that. But it does get seen by Stabby. So he's going to be relaying that back to his team, letting them know where it's at. And he's coming around behind now. Stabby's behind enemy lines, but gets caught out by the soldier for DK.
Oh, until it goes down to Axiomatic, who has a nice sight line there from the second level of barn.
We do see the Uber coming out now from the Overseer, coming up on the top, trying to get a lot of spam on that sentry, and it hasn't gone down yet, but lots of stickies, and the sentry appears to... No, it finally goes down. But good Uber coming out there from Ginyu Force, able to get that sentry down, and now they should be able to capture that point.
Yeah,
nice and
Axiomatic. Axiomatic just kind of sitting back, getting some heals, and doing a ton of work on cart. Just picking off a few key players there. Got Dill before the push even started, which allowed DK to get set up again. Again, Blue is rotating to this right side, trying to force their heavy with medic in. But Red Uber comes out here, velocity. Josh goes down to a snipe from Stones, which means that sentry gun is left unguarded. And Blue is kind of being stuck here. Oh, and Overseer goes down to Zan there with a nice sticky, and Axio gets a frag onto Sigafu as DK starts cleaning up some of Ginyu's players that were strewn about. Ginyu is definitely going to have to kind of reset if they want to push this point. They need to get one good push to take out that gun and force an Uber out of Red that isn't as strong as it has been, because they've just been having their way with when and where to pop these.
Yeah, DK's certainly being a lot more protective of their medic now. You can see that their medic, an engineer flanking, and the medic got a few nice arrows onto him, and he called out, and team member just came and backed him up there. So I think they're certainly being a lot more protective in meta way. They've got the advantage with they're on about 75, with Overseer being on about 40. So they're certainly going to be the ones to get the Uber first, and they're going to want to hold this and try to use it defensively. So Metaways doesn't want to drop, being very conservative now, and Red is just pushing out and just spamming out onto Blue.
Yeah, Red is kind of just hunkering down here. Getting a nice setup, kind of controlling that flank as Ibby goes in. Stabby goes down as he's caught out. Blue are kind of trying to wrap around this back half as we see Mela and Patty just trying to control.
One thing to note is that the Spy's behind enemy lines and he gets the pick.
But again,
the medic giving him a nice overheal.
Yeah, big pick onto Banny there, which is certainly going to halt this push. But Red Sentry did go down, so we'll see if Josh gets a chance to set it up.
It's certainly been a long hold on this, and that's going to be certainly in the back of Ginyu Force's minds in terms of the time on the clock. They got a good first and second, but they've been here for at least a good 3 to 4 minutes, so it's going to be a while. We do have the Uber coming out now, being forced out onto Metaway, but he does get a better exchange, and he catches his Demo Man in time for his Demo Man to not be dropped, but then gets juggled by a pesky Pyro. But he does seem to get away with his life, so that's good, and they're going to be able to attempt to contest this third point now from outside of the barn.
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of just pulling back out here, giving some heals to their snipe. Trying to pressure this cart, but it does look like they're going to be forced back into last soon. Blue taking the right side here of cart, or left side. They're just trying to get heals and pressure this sentry, which is only level 1 right now.
And we do see Ginyu Force kind of coming out the left side of Marn, clustering a lot of players there. With the Ubers being about equal, DK are very, very well aware of this and they're ready to use it and contest. I don't think Metaway wants to use to save his players just yet. He's telling them to get back, get fully healed and wait for the aggression and the force to come out of here. But we do see Ginyu getting ready, getting very aggressive. The Uber does come out of Ginyu with the med getting juggled a bit in the air, and that's going to delay a lot of their aggression. And they're going to have to back off right here with a significantly better Uber coming out for DK, and they're going to allow them to... oh, they didn't hold the point, it got capped while the Uber came in. But still very good aggression, and they're going to have to back off now, or they're trying to contest it.
Yeah, Red's not in a bad position here as they just got that Uber exchange, but they really need to get a pick on a Banny, and it does as Carl picks him off as he comes around the corner. Oh, but Stabby takes down Carl and gets Axio 2 big headshots from Stabby. Now we push back into last as we've got a sentry up on the yellow barrel. This new pathway is just came in this version, and we're going to see how the flank kind of plays on it. Ginyu very heavy on the cart. DK's got to get some spam onto it. Nice clean up as Ginyu loses a couple key players that they were just sitting on the cart there.
Yeah, it was a lot of different frags being traded from a lot of different people. Like we saw Stabby getting a nice stab onto the soldier for DK, but then we saw a few other picks just being exchanged. And
yeah, and here comes Blue Uber. Ginyu coming in, using this new path, getting right in on the red combo, who's kind of forced into spawn here. They need to get out so that they can pressure this cart, but there it is, too late. Ginyu with that's a pretty fast time. This is quite a long payload map, and they blaze through those first 2 points. So we'll see if DK can take it out on this second round.
yeah, on that last point, it was somewhat difficult to see what was going on. It seemed like teams are coming in left and right, and it seemed like it felt like DK kind of didn't know where to be in terms of some of their players were chasing particular, you know what I mean, like a Pirate, and then the Scout came in, but then they came in and we just saw Ginyu just all flocking in at once, which really just helped that kind of coordinated aggression, and then just having that distraction play while one person can just be on a cart and cap it in, which is what we saw.
Yeah, and Sigafu's running mini sentries, so we'll see kind of if this is his plan for just the first point, or if this is what he wants to do on the whole map. But yeah, towards the end of that round, just looked like Ginyu's combo with Banny and Overseer got way too far in before anybody on DK could kind of do anything, and they popped that Uber right on top of him and forced him back into spawn, which just kind of opened the whole last up for Ginyu to rush in and cap that point. But we'll see if DK can take him here as they start their turn on offense. Red holding in a pretty similar spot.
Very different sentry placement we can see though, with Sigafu just peppering people with that mini sentry.
Yeah, and it actually does take down Zan, so good pick there to start. Carl goes down. Yeah, these initial picks are pretty strong here from Ginyu. They're just kind of dominating this upper.
The red med, and he gets called out. The red med sees it and avoids the stair stab.
Again, Ginyu holding a little bit more aggressively, kind of all the way in on top of this high ground, just forcing blue players back to get heals and picking up some easy frags during the first part of this round. Right now, blue is working up that left side, trying to get this Uber. They're popped. They're in on red, but red doing a great job of milking this. As Overseer was already popped, so blue is going to have a nice run, taking this high ground, getting some cart time as they push red back to second.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a somewhat easy first for DK, it looked like they were losing a lot of players in the initial first push. Maybe they were just feeling it out, seeing like where their placement was, and then just going from there. Because this seems like a very decisive first, and it's going to be a big back off. But it seems like Ginyu are trying to do a forward hold here, and I don't think it's going to work out for them. With their heavy just getting taken down by Ibby with that soda popper, and with not many other players inside.
Huge and picks Banny right before Overseer pops the Uber on him. Maybe didn't expect him to hit those shots, but nice work by Josh as he picks up that frag. Blue is now going to be able to kind of take this right flank route and push around second point.
Well, I think it's going to be really important for DK right now is to keep that cart presence going and just always be having someone on the cart to kind of like just keep that pressure going. Because there's a lot of players coming in now for Ginyu, but there was a period of time there where like they could easily got a bit of time on there, but
yeah, red holding kind of in the side as blue Uber is popped on a soldier and demo who are forcing through on this side, and Banny goes down. Dill too, they were separated from Overseer, and that's two huge picks. Blue has got to push it up this ramp and get this cap.
Yeah, we did see Stabby trying to flank around on the med there, and the med getting a nice few Uber saws onto him and taking him down. So, interesting work. We just see Medaway caught out by a scout now. Is he going to try to contest it? No, he doesn't use his kill bind. He tries to take it down and just gets pistoled down by a rogue scout.
Yeah, Patty, excellent pressure there. Kind of exactly what Ginyu needed to hold this second point, is now Overseer's got that 100% Uber, and they are pretty set up. Sigafu's still running those mini sentries, which are doing pretty well.
We do see a very good bomb in there from Mela, just getting onto the heavy and just peppering him down with two nice rockets and cleaning up another frag as well, and then just jumping away and getting himself well healed. It certainly seems like there's a lot more coordination coming out of Ginyu than previously expected, and they're certainly showing us what they're made of.
Yeah, there's some really good focus fire coming in on those classes who are caught out of position. Carl was a little too far forward there, and kind of all of Ginyu just jumped right on top of him and got that before he could even react. We're going to see if Axio can kind of get a play done, or a play made here, as he's got to get something for his team to push on.
We do see DK trying to push out of the house, and the soldier just backs right into a heavy. So that's Mela just getting taken down straight away there.
Yeah, but Patty...
We just see the red Uber coming out.
Both cleaning up frags, and there it is. DK down to just 2 players, and Aegis just respawned. So just Deer here trying to get some extra cap time, but yeah, just a wipe as Ginyu's flank comes in and just dominates DK.
Yeah, and with so much time on the clock, I think DK are very well aware of they need to be on the cart now, and they need to have a very good push through third.
Yeah, Stones is just sitting here getting a lot of support from his team and putting out some good damage as he's just popping everybody who's coming around this corner.
And Banny just getting a few nice stickies on the Zan and Velocity and picking up a 2k very nicely. But with Carl, Josh and Ibby just getting a nice few frags and helping make that advantage for their team. And this looks like it's going to be a point for the DK.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed. They had a couple players come in there, definitely focus fire down Banny and get that sniper pick, so that the rest of their team could move in. We're gonna see him push through a tunnel, try and get this through so they can't set up on third point. But
well, one thing to notice, Sigafu just went down, so that's gonna be a delayed setup with his sentry just going down as well. So he's not gonna have a sentry up on third until very, very, very shortly.
And Deer goes down there, is trying to get a play made inside a barn. All of red is just holding this lower level, pretty different from what we saw at a DK. They're kind of all right here at this door, right next to Medaway. They both pop. Uber's exchanged in this first level. Looks like Banny's going to chase, forcing Medaway to flash a couple of his players. And there it is. Stabby gets a nice pick on Medaway. That's a big pick, as now Ginyu has numbers, and they're going to definitely have Uber advantage for this next point.
With 3 minutes on the clock, it's certainly looking grim for DK.
Yeah, and as we kind of thought, Sigafu is switching to level 3s here, as this is a pretty powerful spot. He's getting set up now, which means that DK is going to have to break out some sort of crazy strat if they want to break through this and get through last point in just 2.5 minutes.
Definitely, and we do see Stabby getting a nice pick on to Velocity
Yeah,
there.
two nice picks there to kind of weaken the flank of DK. As now EB is down, Josh is down, Velocity is just now spawning. They really need to start pressuring this gun and see if they can't get a nice pick to open it up for him. But there it is. Zan goes down to Banny. Axio down to Patty. As DK is just dropping players right now.
This just feels like very scrappy play coming out of DK. They seem to be trying to push like crowd left, and it just wasn't working out for them. Whereas we could see in that first round, Ginyu just all went right and used that Uber up top and took that sentry out quite comfortably. And that just didn't seem to be the case with just very scrappy play coming out of both teams. With a minute and a half on the clock, I think they've thrown.
Yeah, Meadoway just goes down again. And with that, and also Deer got the sentry, got a nice stab and sap, which is kind of the only thing saving DK's possibilities here, as they need to get into this third point and get some frags. Getting a nice pick on Stones, which might open it up. And Stabby does go down.
One thing to note is Stabby is behind and just pistol down Axiomatic, and I think he used a vocal taunt there. One that he must have used on purpose, because I can certainly see the taunting coming out.
Aggressive Uber here out of Overseer to pressure Meadoway. Meadoway does go down, and that's a really smart use of Uber there to pressure Meadoway, knowing they had that huge Uber advantage. And Red is just cleaning up frags left and right as DK is down to just 4 up. Yeah, there it is. This is going to be the end, as just too many frags coming in on Ginyu's behalf. Meaning that they're not going to be able to push this through third. They might not even get third point, most likely.
One thing to note is consistently throughout this game, from about second point, Banny has been on 3 dominations this whole game, and he hasn't lost that 3 dominations, so he's certainly putting in a lot of work for his team, and certainly helping to clear out the players on DK.
Yeah, DK just really trying to go for a last push, not giving up. Yeah, Overseer just, you saw that she just got a rampage. I mean, just not going down, doing a great job of surviving, using that Uber advantage to pressure out Meadoway. A couple of key picks on him just made it so that DK could not get a good push onto third there. So, against what I thought, Ginyu takes the first round.
Yeah, very, very decisive first round from Ginyu. So it's going to be interesting to see what DK chain. As we said at the start, I thought Ginyu were going to take it, being the underdogs. I felt like they were going to come and show us what they made of, and they certainly did that with the first round. It's going to be interesting to see if DK change anything up, change anything different. But with with Ginyu defending first this time, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they try to set the pace of this game.
Yeah, looking at the stats here, Banny just a huge damage, tons of frags, 30 frags, which is more than anyone else on his team. And he's getting a lot of heals, but he's definitely putting him to good use here.
Yeah, you can just see with the frags and assists per death.
Yeah.
With Overseer having 25 assists, 1 death, and Banny having 30 frags, 9 deaths. Like even the Pyro Fathom, like it's just a significantly higher amount of frags, and with a higher amount of healing, especially coming out for Overseer with 3 more Ubers being able to come out. So that's certainly very key.
Yeah, and I mean Fathom doing a great job of kind of shutting down Deer, only getting 9 frags there, and definitely protecting his combo. Doing really good job staying close, which is in turn letting his combo kind of be a little bit more aggressive, get that extra damage out. Both snipers, they did all right. Again, they kind of counteracted each other there. But enough of stats. We're going back to the match here. Ginyu, of course, going to defend first, see how they do here. See if they're going to stick with that mini sentry that did a good bit of work on those first 2 points. And yeah, he is running the gunslinger, and Red is holding on the right side again, so we're probably going to see a pretty similar defense to how it went the first time. What do you think DK needs to change here if they want to, find a little bit more success in the second half?
I think DK, I feel like they're getting a bit frazzled. I feel like some of their players, especially, I can see like Axio just seems to be getting a bit frazzled about it. I think they need to like collect themselves and just push the group, especially coming onto that third point. You can see that they tried the left and then it didn't work out for them, and then it just got scrappy from there. Whereas they really needed to just kind of be really coordinated with their play, which I feel like Ginyu would just kind of Ginyu learned from that, as we saw in their first week UGC round, and they just kind of changed their play style, and they can see that now coming out of DK a little bit.
Yeah, Mela trying to go for a pick there as Zan bombs in. He's trying to look for that medic, but he gets shut down. And again, same thing like last time. Ginyu applying pressure early as the first round of suicides comes in. Not finding much luck there. We're going to see Red pressuring this right side as Blue is trying to open it up to get that Uber in. But again, they're just not finding much room to breathe here, as Ginyu is just applying pressure.
Yeah, Ginyu is certainly shutting down any aggression. And we do see the Uber coming out, Uber exchange coming.
Yeah, Blue Uber didn't really get much here as, yeah, as Red kind of counter Ubers and just keeps their space. Blue is taking the high ground though, or that bridge sec, and kind of pushing that cart up this long hill as Red kind of falls back into this right flank area. Blue's got to keep the pressure on if they want it. They know Ginyu can set a pretty fast time, which means they can't dilly-dally around. They've got to stay on this cart, and they've got to keep up this aggression. Getting a nice pick on stones, which means they can move about a little bit more freely. Stabby coming in, getting a nice pick on Velocity.
A nice sticky onto Banny, with the previous one also getting out onto Paddy, so it's going to be certain body advantage for DK. And what you can notice is they're just keeping people on the cart, whereas last round they seemed to like kind of cap first. Like it was about a good 20 seconds till someone got on it, and now they're just well aware of the body advantage they've got, and they're keeping someone on it at all times.
Yeah, DK's combo is coming through here as Axio takes down stones. Metaway with 91%, looking to try and get this Uber off. He looks like he's in pretty good shape. He might not even need to if Red really falls back, but it looks like they might chase. They do pop here in lobby. Chasing Red out all the way to third as they kind of get this free cap.
And that is a very decisive second for DK. You can see that they learned from their mistakes and they just capitalized on it straight away. And they just got a very, very easy second.
Yeah, that might have been a little too much aggression from DK as they're kind of punished there. Getting a couple classes lost, and this card is just not moving right now as Stone's watching it with his sniper rifle.
Well, one thing to note, when Ginyu, in the first half, in the first round for Ginyu, they capped second in 2:45, so they're 30 seconds faster than Ginyu, so they're well aware of the time that Ginyu can make, and they're well aware of what they need to do to try to beat it. Maybe a bit of an overextension on the aggression there, with no one really pushing the card at the moment.
It'd be on Stones, and he does take him down. That's going to free up the card. We're going to see if Red's setting up here. They're up top. Overseer is safe and sound as they're holding off this choke point on the left side.
We just see the Uber coming out from midway. He had a minor advantage, but with Overseer just getting his, they're going to be quick to contest.
Yeah, it looks like they want to take Paddy back in with this.
Stone's getting a nice snipe on a Zan, with DK's Soldier getting a good few rockets onto Mela.
Yeah, Blue with the Knight, they rotated really well there. DK kind of coming and getting some key picks, but there it is. Red Uber popped by Overseer onto Banny and Paddy. They're going to pick up the frags. Josh does a nice job of kind of stopping Paddy as he gets the Uber taken off of him. Now it looks like Zan is going to try and find some sort of way to get on. Ibby on the medic, looking for something that he can do.
One thing to note is that
taken down by Axio.
One thing to note is Sigafu was only running mini sentries in there, and that just lost them third. If there was a level 3 set up there, I feel like Ginyu could have held third a lot nicer.
Yeah, and must have heard you, because there it is, level 3 going up on kind of the latter half. Deer taken down. Blue coming in pretty strong here, but Banny is ready, spamming down this hill. making sure not to get picked. Axio does take down Stone. Ginyu's got to be careful not to drop Overseer again.
With the sentry going down for Sigafu, it's going to be a easy cap for DK. And then you go 4 minutes and 45 seconds under that third cap. This is the this is lining up to be a very nice time for DK. They just need to come out with a nice Uber and just push it in.
Yeah, this is kind of what I expected from DK. A lot more coordination in this half, kind of following up on each other's damage. They are getting picked off a little bit on the flank here as Velocity and Josh go down. But Zan and Aegis are coming in, putting out damage onto Overseer. But she has that Uber. We're kind of waiting to see if she's going to pop. Carl goes down, and the Uber is popped by Overseer, and Banny is going to chase, try and get that frag onto Zan, who's very lit.
We do just see DK kind of pushing in a bit left with their combo. They are going to have Uber very soon with a significant advantage, at least 70% over on Ginyu. And we just see the Uber coming out and they're just trying to clean up frags and get a nice push in. Make it a lot nicer for them. With Stabby getting a nice stab on to DK's Soldier. And we're going to see a lot of cart pressure coming out now and they're going to try to get in on this last.
Yeah, this last is pretty big, but DK really needs to kind of get in here and start pressuring if they want to continue this momentum. Overseer has 70% charge, so she is going to be ready as long as she stays up. Stone's taking down Axio. Stabby with 2 nice stabs. Metaway going down there. Big work by Stabby, who just walks right in and gets 2 key picks there. And DK is basically wiped now.
Yeah, that was odd because it came out, Ginyu's demo, Banny, he just came out and he didn't really have anyone with him, and like he had like a demo and a scout on him, and he could have been taken down, but he just got the better of the DM and had players back him up in like 10 seconds where he could have got picked. We do see the Soldier flanking around onto Metaway and he gets caught out, but Mela could have got a nice pick there, but got called out unfortunately.
Yeah, very close there to another pick on Metaway, who's got to stay up now. Overseer with that 100%. Ready to go. Sentry gun getting built up here on top of Barrel. Now we're going to see how Ginyu defends this last. They didn't really get a chance last round, but they are making sure to keep some eyes on the left side. But Mela goes down, which means they don't really have anybody over there. And there it is, Uber coming out of Banny. Or out of Overseer with Banny. Taking out Metaway. He does get
Metaway and he does get Josh, so that's going to be a big delay in the aggression for DK. Luckily they found those 2 frags though, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't have really got anything with it. But it just seemed to work out for them.
Taken down there by Carl. Right now, Red just sitting comfortably, resetting. Didn't lose too many key classes, and they, with the pick on the Metaway, they successfully denied this point for probably another minute.
We do see Stabby getting called out there. He saw the medic on the left, and he was like, "No, I'm going to try to go for the teleporter instead," and it just didn't work out for him, unfortunately, there.
Yeah, Sigafu with that Wrangler and Rescue Ranger, meaning this sentry is going to be a pain to take down. They really need to get a solid Uber in here, but again, right now it's just kind of classes being exchanged as we wait for Metaway to build.
Yeah, well, Metaway just seems to be getting disconnected from all those players. Like, he's healing one player and they run away from him, and he's disconnected now. Like, he really needs to be healing someone full time to get that Uber going, which just doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. Now he's kind of sticking more with that group, but it seems like he just had a lot of players who just weren't sticking with him, and he was stuck on 50% for a good amount of time.
Yeah, DK has some nice momentum.
Ginyu pushing out right, but DK are going in left, so this might be a bit of a misplay. They realise and they rotate back around.
Yeah, that's part of this last, is there used to be a window that kind of let the defense see where they're going, but Metaway taking advantage of the ability to just kind of rotate his team around, keep him out of that pressure. We're going to see it, and there it is, blue Uber pop, stuffed by Fathom at the gate, and there it is, the return by Overseer, who's going to pressure them out and chase with Patty. There it is, big frags coming in for Ginyu as they just basically wipe DK again, leaving only 4 classes up.
Yeah, Metaway just got caught out up against that wall. He got that medic quicksand when you get caught against an object, and just wasn't able to get out, and just got completely demolished by the heavy. So unfortunate, but they needed to try to get something. going with that Uber, and it just didn't work out for them.
Yeah, Deer, again, unable to kind of pressure this sentry. That's really what they need. They need some sort of pick from Axio or Deer.
Axio does get
so
a
they
nice
can get
snipe
this
onto
move.
Banny.
That's a good start. Banny, a huge player for Ginyu, and now that he's down, they might be able to aggress a little more. Blue soft pushing in left side. Patty is on him. Oh, but he's taken down before he can take out Metaway.
He'd be flanking around, getting a nice pick on Stones while that sentry is being wrangled. Just able to flank around and get some plays going. He might be getting on the med. He's in. Wow. Ibby is just jumping around all behind enemy lines.
Oh, and there it is. Great play by DK as they just kind of come in, sneakily take out that sentry and pressure left side. They've got to take out Banny, who's just spamming the cart. Uber's flashed, and this looks like it's gonna be it. It is, as DK taps in 10:23.
I've got to say, man, big ups to Ibby on that one. Like, anyone who saw that, I don't know if the camera was on him, but he just flanked around. He was just going crazy. He was just jumping everywhere using that soda popper, and all the attention was focused on him. And it was just all the attention, and then Zan just came in and just cleaned up everything. Like, it was just really, really good coordinated play coming out of Ibby and his team then.
Yeah, Ibby doing a great job of turning their heads there, letting Blue sneak in. We're going to see kind of how DK is going to play this. They know they need to do better than last time as their time is only 10:22. Oh, and it looks like
still a good time.
Josh has actually taken a cue from Sigafu, and he's running mini sentries on this first point, so we'll see how it goes. I think Ginyu kind of pulled it together on that last point, really doing a lot better job of focusing fire and being aggressive when they had that Uber advantage, which, you know, was just completely opposite of how they played those first three, getting some unfortunate picks and blown through. But again, a last hold on a map like on a payload map, it might be all it takes. As the round starts here, Ginyu's got to know they have a comfortable position.
Ginyu are going to need a good time on this. But they kept their first half in like 8 minutes 30 seconds roughly, so I think they're feeling pretty comfortable about this.
Oh, Banny does get I think got one pipe off there, but did not hit the second one as the suicides come in there. Again, largely ineffective. This first point at Borneo is a little hard to get in on that medic. Got to go for some pretty huge jumps. Banny taken down again. We do see Axio
getting a nice snipe onto Mela. And Axio's been calling out Mela all throughout this game, so that's certainly going to be one to rub in. We do see Stabby getting a nice backstab onto DK's soldier.
Yeah, Red doing a nice job of just kind of passively holding this. Ibby does go down to the sentry gun, which means they're going to have less of a flank presence, especially with Aegis down as well. Blue Uber is popped as they're in now, but Velocity is doing a great job of kind of canning this Uber.
Yeah,
Metaway already popped and has to get out though.
Good job on Velocity. He's really delayed that aggression just by blowing them back and then forcing their attention onto him.
Banny going down to a snipe there by Axio. Big pick as they're trying to push up this slope. Stone's looking for a pick, but can't quite seem to get one.
We do see a lot of frags coming out for Ginyu onto DK, but it seems like they're still going to be able to hold this. A lot of aggression coming out.
Nice reflect there by Velocity, who picks off Aegis. And they are pressuring them in this flank house. They've got to get out as Zan goes down and Carl goes down. The combo is devastated. Metaway is trying to get out here. He needs to save it. He just now gets his Uber. He is going to pop onto Ibby and try and get some work done, but I just don't see him being able to work his soda popper magic in such a close space.
They really need to get a force out on the Overseer because they don't want him to have an Uber to push into this second point. But it seems like there's just a lot of car crowding going on from Ginyu at the moment. A lot of aggression coming out and not a lot of players to back it up. They use the Uber to try to force them out. And they get a fair few frags with Carl getting bottled down by Banny.
But
Velocity
Josh
getting body shot.
Overseer. Nice aggression as he comes in after the Uber to just take an unaware Overseer out with his shotgun.
Yeah, and they're looking. DK is certainly going to want to set up for a strong third hold here.
Oh, but Metaway is pressured and he does go down to Fathom as he's trying to get out. It's not what DK needs right now. They need to set up in the top of this barn and get a nice hold.
And we do see there's like a lot of cart pressure coming out from Ginyu. They know what they need, and they need a lot of cart pressure. And with 7 minutes on the clock and they're just coming into third, it's certainly looking to be favourable for them.
Yeah, right now it looks like DK is just kind of slowly losing ground. They're not getting rolled here. They're just not able to kind of slow the cart. They're doing some nice exchanges. Stone's taking down Axio. That's a big pick as they're trying to move into the straightaway. And Aegis goes down again to Stabby, who's just making his life not very much fun.
With 6 minutes on the clock and with them just coming in to last, it could be anyone's game.
Yeah, but
the
Josh
aggression
does go down.
coming out, just... Metaway does have a significant Uber advantage, but he needs to hold on to it, needs to use it well for it to work out for him.
Yeah, and he might need it here as Josh needs to try and set up a gun, and he's just now responding, so... He's still on minis, which he really needs to try and get a level 3 up. He's not going to be able to hold this for 6 minutes without one. Metaway trying to get a fourth.
The Overseer does get taken down.
Yeah. Nice pick. That's exactly what they needed. They can kind of come back and reset everything. Josh is switching to level 3s. That's a smart move. And again, we're just going to see another reset on this last point as Ginyu kind of lost the advantage they had with Overseer going down and Metaway just building comfortably.
Ginyu being very cheeky though with Stabby just getting that cart pressure going and...
Yeah, Axio again getting stoned.
Not much happening now with the sentry just kind of coming up for Josh.
Yeah, Ginyu holding this left side, trying to kind of get some sort of opening. As they're buffing Stones to see what he can do. He's looking down that corridor, hoping Zan will peek it. And if he just runs in and picks Stones, he doesn't care. With that soda popper, he's just going all over the place. And gets a nice pick on Ginyu's sniper there.
We do see even Ubers, but Stabby's doing that cart thing again, and it seems to be working for him. He's just edging it in slowly, and while, you know, if he's running that dead ringer, he's getting the proc off, so it's working for him one way or another.
And again, oh, and there it is. Ginyu does Uber in. They're pressuring the sentry gun. But Josh doing a good job of using that Rescue Ranger combo, and it is going to pick out Fathom. Ginyu not forcing that Uber out of Metaway too quickly, and DK is going to be able to hold. Oh, Stone's taking down Metaway with a great parting shot as he gets out.
One thing to note is look at how close that cart is. Like, Stabby's just putting pressure on it. All that sentry needs to be is wrangled, and they can just get people on it. With 4 minutes on the clock, it's anyone's game at the moment, but Stabby's doing what he's doing best. He's keeping that cart pressure on, and look at that. You know, there's so much pressure on the cart right now, they don't even care.
And again, I mean, great job by Stabby just inching that cart in. And that's going to be it with a 2-0 win over DK. Ginyu, nice work. Again, it looks like they just kept pressuring that right side, coming in from that right side, using that little pathway to pressure out the medic, distract him, get that gun wrangled, and then they would just come in with their flank classes and push the cart down that straightaway.
Yeah, certainly. You know, I said it at the start. I felt like they were going to come in and show us what they were made of, and they certainly did that.
And we're going to try and take a look at stats here for that second half. Definitely I would think a much more interesting game, as both teams got all the way to last, but Ginyu just with too much aggression there and taking last handily. So let's take a look at the stats here. Again, Banny just doing an absurd amount of damage. Coming in with 550 damage per minute. That's huge. Obviously kept DK on their toes for most of that, or on their heels rather. And DK just struggling to kind of keep up with the DM of Ginyu. At least that's what it seems.
Hey, Banny. Oh, you can't talk in here.
And welcome. Guys, how did you enjoy the showcase match?
was a blast.
A lot of fun. That's actually much improved, in my opinion, for Borneo map. I was impressed.
Yeah, you guys definitely, I mean, I know you weren't directly involved in the process of making changes, but you guys certainly adapted well and gave DK kind of a rude awakening who thought they might have it.
Why would you ever think that?
Hey.
Well, that was actually my first time really playing the map, and I don't know, I picked it up pretty quickly. Its layout is pretty intuitive, I'd say. There's a lot of maps, the first time you look at them, you just have no idea what's going on, but it flowed pretty well. You know? The points are well laid out, the spawns kind of lead you in the right direction, all that kind of stuff. And I think it looks really nice, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone through quite a few revisions. This latest one just kind of affecting that third point especially. What did you guys think of the new barn?
You talking about, with the left-hand side being kind of that opened up? Yeah, I thought that was a really good idea, because it allows every class now to be able to flank on either side, basically, without, so I don't know, it kind of forces the teams to have to get pressure and stuff like that. Like they used it against us. They had the soldier go use they pushed with the left, and then they came over the top with the right. I don't know. I actually really like that change versus, I think, wasn't it like there was like a ramp you could like sticky off from beforehand? I don't know. It kind of there wasn't a lot you could do with that, whereas now any class can use it.
Sorry, we're talking about third?
Yeah.
Yeah, the main difference was the upper level was cut off. It used to extend all the way to the defense's right, and now it's cut off and there's a wall there. And it used to be that the defenders would always like clob up right on that hole, right where the part where it's no longer there. And now there's not enough space to like dodge spam up there, so I think it's much better.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting, you guys. Josh, you ran level 3s for pretty much the whole first time through. But Sigafu, you chose to run minis. Any specific reason? Just kind of getting used to the map, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mixture of, I don't know what the meta is on this yet. I don't know where the good spots are to hold. And the map, one of the, the best parts and worst part about the map, at least from my point of view, is that, I shouldn't say worst part because it's good, but as an engineer, there's so many flanking opportunities. And unless I know that, hey, my team can shut down this area, so that leaves my gun able to stay alive kind of through that. I felt it was more worthwhile for me to be aggressive and try to keep a mini up than rather try to, when you build a level 3, that's a lot of time and effort that you're putting into it. And so if it's just going to go down right away on the first push, it's almost not worthwhile because I'm not going to be able to take a good angle on it. So for instance, last point, I ran level 3s because I thought I had a good angle on it. I ran level 3s on third point sometimes because I thought I had a good angle on it. But for second point and the first point, I just thought there's not really, one, a good angle, and two, if it does stay alive, it's going to go down pretty quickly. So I'd rather have a little bit of damage going out constantly than no damage that just gets spammed out right away.
Yeah. Now, Banny, what did you think? This map is a little bit longer than kind of traditional payload maps. Certainly longer than Badwater. What did you think of kind of the distance between points? Was it hard to keep up the aggressiveness that you kind of want to play on?
No, it didn't seem so. I mean, it seemed like the spawns and the teleports and all that stuff kind of led me right to the front line pretty quickly, I guess. Or maybe because I'm on demo, I could just sticky jump and I was like there already, but I'd say it didn't seem too long. It didn't feel like I was like walking the whole time or anything. I do admit though, I haven't played all the payload maps, like, there's Badwater and stuff, and what's the other one, Swiftwater. Like, I'm not too experienced on those maps in Highlander, but this one just, I don't know, it felt fine.
Not as bad as Badwater third.
The distance on offense from the second spawn when you're attacking third is pretty long, I think. But it's like that in some maps, like in Badwater.
Yeah,
Like, you really need to tell you at that point.
Yeah.
I think that's good too, because that kind of that gives the ability for, I think they do that to some degree. You could think to like reset, like give the defense a chance to reset, because you do have that spawn distance to overcome that. You can't just keep up that constant pressure and keep people coming to the front lines. But I agree. Like, I don't know. I thought it was a really good distance between the points. Like, it's like it always kind of felt like the defenders had a chance to get the defense up, Like if they were getting continually wiped, it was kind of like they were holding too aggressively or they're losing players needlessly or something like that. But it's like if you could get out and like get to the next point, unlike say Badwater, where it's like if you lose second, you're gonna lose third, kind of a thing.
Another thing to kind of touch on and kind of how the map is structured, it looks pretty open at first, but maybe either both snipers were kind of counteracting each other, but it didn't seem like they were going as huge as they could on, say, a map like Upward or Badwater. Was it kind of less sniper friendly, do you guys think, or were you guys just playing a little bit smarter than most teams?
I think it just people don't really know like the best silence or like how to react to where a team goes. Yeah, like I don't know, people are just probably trying things out. Snipers, I mean.
I think Axiomatic was too busy talking shit to really snipe anyone. I think that was the problem. No, but there's a lot of cover on this map, so as open as it is, there's a lot of cover, there's a lot of side areas, so you can kind of position your combo inside or behind little corners and stuff like that. So there's enough cover and enough open space, I'd say, to keep Sniper in check, but not completely negate his like sightlines and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. What do you guys think was the classes that definitely were huge on this map? Like either for you guys or that were just kind of being a huge pain for your team?
I think the last sentry spot was a huge pain for us when Sigafu got it set up.
Yeah, that's always the same with you. I mean, when we kind of struggled when you got that gun up there as well. And then when you hit your gun up at third, we kind of struggled with that for a while before we got that down. Axiomatic in the first round had a lot of good headshots starting out the game. Like he had some weird angles that I just was not expecting. But I don't know if there was like one class. This felt like kind of like a really team-oriented map. I didn't feel like anybody really dominated. I felt like everybody had their chance to make a play, but no one really stood out like drastically either.
So, any last kind of comments on the map before we switch topics for a little bit?
I think one potential problem is that teams will realize that when they have a sentry up, the offense has to push right on this railing, and so if the defense just defends that point, it could be pretty hard to push last.
Yeah, they've definitely gone through some revisions, but last could still definitely be a problem. What about you, Benny and Sigafu? Kind of impressions of the map?
I'll let you go first, Benny.
I thought I just thought it played well. I haven't experienced the map too much in like the previous season, so everyone was like saying how things look better and all that, and I didn't really feel like there was any one point that was problematic. Maybe our team just like figured it out real quick, but it always seemed like we could rotate left or right. We could always find like a good push on every point, There was no like complete stalemate or shutdown, So to me that was a good thing. And the other thing I liked about it a lot was there was a lot of opportunities to like surprise people with Ubers and play aggressive and like catch people around corners and stuff like that. So
yeah, you guys definitely had some pretty solid scout Ubers back into DK when you were holding that third point. Kind of dropped Medaway a couple times there, which was a big part of your defense in the first round.
Yeah, I like that it allows you to play aggressive. You don't have to just turtle up and like be like pinned down everywhere. You can kind of push out as well and retake some of the ground that you've lost and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, with that, I guess we're going to kind of move on to just a little bit of talk about this UGC playoff season that are going to resume on December 1st. Ginyu, you guys want to talk about your matchup? How you guys are feeling about it?
Well, to be honest, I don't even know who we play, but it's on Viaduct, so
yeah.
We've been playing really well on Viaduct, so I'm pretty confident in the team. Everyone seems to have figured out what works on that map, and yeah, but I know every other team could potentially go huge, so I'm never expecting to win. I honestly, since I don't really focus on Highlander, I always kind of expect the other teams to be the better team, just because I always feel a little bit out of my element when it comes to Highlander. So I always get caught off guard. I think spies and snipers like constantly kill me, and I think the more experienced Highlander players would not let that happen, But,
Yeah.
the rest of my team kind of carries me through those moments when I'm getting destroyed. So luckily, they're all really good.
Sigafu, any other comments?
No. I just really want to say though, if people who have not given this map a chance, like give this one a try. This should definitely be in the next season of UGC. For the crappy Mets that they have forced upon us, I do not think this is one of them. And looking forward to my match next Monday.
Yeah, I completely agree. This was a great match to watch from you guys. A lot of kind of exciting play that you don't normally see on payload maps. So, Metaway and Josh Lelouch, what do you guys think of your upcoming game? I mean, K&D has took you guys on Badwater, but how are you guys feeling about Viaduct?
We're glad it's Viaduct. We kind of feel like, I don't know, we got held up on third on our match against K&D, and we're glad it's kind of a DM oriented map. And we definitely want revenge.
Kind of a grudge match. Should be a really great game. Both teams really solid. DK, you guys, again, just every season improving, getting better and better, kind of building to what previous casters would be calling a new Highlander dynasty. But we'll see how you guys do. You're looking pretty promising. Metaway, any other stuff you want to talk?
Just hopefully we do well on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm just going to chime in. I just had a question for Metaway that just popped into my head about the map. I know we're going back to it, so I apologise. But I was wondering, looking at first, it certainly seemed like teams are wanting to push up that left side of the house, especially as teams are wanting to hold like on that left side in terms of where the Ubers were coming through. Like, as I play medic, I'm a medic main for Plat in Australia. I was wondering, did you kind of feel like that was the only real spot to push an Uber? Like, because the other sight lines for the other spots seemed fairly open. Did you feel like that was just the most advantageous spot to push, or do you think it was just the only one?
Left side from the offenser's perspective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's what leads you directly to the combo. Like, if you go far right, you can easily get sniped, or like you will have to fight their flank as well as their combo. So if instead you just go left side, you will just go directly into the combo. It's a lot faster out to trade overs.
Yeah, that's kind of what both teams started doing there in the second half, which kind of led to more success pushing last. So with that, unless we have any more comments from you guys want to give any like last minute shout outs, anything special?
Shout out to not having to play Steel this week. Yeah.
Oh, I will amen to that. Vanny, anyone?
Just shout outs to Froyo Tech, my team, and my sponsors, Trade.tf. That's about it.
Josh, any last ones?
Shout out to Aces Gamer, Best Soldier.
Shout out to MJ.
All right. Oxy, any last words?
No, that's all from me, really. Shout out to Dunning-Kruger Effect's changing profile picture that I'm always looking at with the push-in cats. That's what my shout out is going to.
It's been the same for like 2 seasons now.
I pay attention. I look out for when it changes.
Shout out to Evie.
Yeah, I mean, again, thanks guys for a great match to cast. I guess shout outs to both teams for putting on a great match, and Ginyu for coming in a little bit last minute so that we could have a show match today. So thanks guys. With that being all, we're gonna call the cast. So everybody have a good night. We're out.